Good day, everyone, especially to you, Ma'am Naisel. I am Mia Tawalukdol, and our group is to report about the Chapter 10, which is the compensation income. First thing that we're going to discuss is all about the employer employee relationship. So, what is this employer employee relationship? So, before let's discuss about that one, let's define first what employer is as well as what employee is. So, employer. So, employer refers to any person for whom an individual performs any service of whatever nature. As employee of such person has control over the payment of the employee remuneration. However, if such person is a non-resident alien not engaged to business in the Philippines, the employer is deemed the person paying remuneration on their behalf. So, meaning an employer, this refers to the one that pays the employee about their compensation. So, employer is the one which can be considered as the creditor. Next is the employee. So, what is this employee? So, employee, it refers to any individual who is a recipient of wages and includes officer, employee, or elected official of the government of the Philippines or any political subdivisions, agency, or instrumentality thereof. So the term also includes an officer of a corporation. So in simple terms, employee refers to the ones that the employer is going to pay. So it is the employee that do the service or do the work. Next is let's go to the elements of employer and employee relationship under case law. So number one element of employer-employee relationship under case law is the selection and engagement of employees. So there is a screening process for employees to hire. So in here, the elements are the one that has the full control is the employer because it is the employer that selects who or whose employees they hire. Next is the payment of wages. So the employer usually fixes and controls the payment of wages. So in this element, it is the employer that has the full control of the compensation in which the employer is to pay on the employee. Next is the power of dismissal. So employer has power to retrench or terminate employees when incurring heavy losses or other reasonable basis. So it is the employer that also has the right to retrench or to terminate an employee if there are times or there are circumstances that they need to terminate employees due to heavy losses or other reasonable basis in the doing of the employee. Next is last element would be the power of control. So power of control, it is where the employer has power to control the employee on the means and methods by which the work is accomplished. So it is the right of the employer that he can enforce or it is the employer that has the power to control the employee to in which he can tell or he can demand what the employee is to do on the work. Next is an arrangement which do not manifest all the elements is not an employer relationship, but an independent contract for provision of services. So, meaning if there are any arrangement that does not manifest all elements that were discussed a while ago, this means that it does not signify an employer employee relationship, but instead it signifies an independent contract or it is a contract wherein there is the employee has the right of this service of the provision of this service. Next is we're going to discuss the following that are not considered as employees. So there are individuals which you cannot consider them as employees. First is the consultant. The number two would be the directors without management function. And number three would be the talents and artists on TV shows and radio broadcasts. So the question is, why are they not considered as employees? It is because the income or fees of these individuals are not compensation income, but rather their income are business or professional income. And since they are earning from their business or from their profession, then they cannot be considered as a compensation earner. That is why they are not considered as an employee, because the ones that can be considered as employee is the one which receive an a compensation income rather. And if that individual is not receiving a compensation income because that individual gains income from its business or from his profession, then it cannot be considered as a compensation income and they cannot be considered as employees. And that would be all. Once again, I am Mia Tuwalukdol from Section 2F.